says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you're lusting is the one you're loving?
We have work to do, but the first work comes in understanding who we are. You can't know where you're going if you're not really clear about all of the things that are happening in the world. So we're going to have a conversation. People are holding on to talk. I want to play another couple of clips. Let's go to clip 4 because this is where it got interesting for me. Clip 4.
He had a hero, Malcolm X.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary.
He had a poster of Malcolm X in his dorm room.
Justice Thomas boasted at one point he had read all of his speeches. And he said at one time he could quote you some of them by heart. I mean, so he really did pay attention to Malcolm X.
Yes. It gets better. We're talking about Clarence Thomas with Tyler Merritt. It gets even better because he also was a part of the Black Panthers, to the point in this documentary where he had the Black Panther whole thing. So when he ends up at Yale, which you find out in here, before that Holy Cross, where he was an affirmative action. Let's just play that clip because it's really short. He actually got into Holy Cross on affirmative action. Play it. Interesting.
At the point when Clarence Thomas got into Holy Cross, the school was actually actively looking for Black students. The president of Holy Cross, Johnny Brooks, who set up this program, described it as affirmative action. That's what opened the doors for him.
Holy Cross, Catholic, all male, more than 2,000 white students, 27 Black students, many of them as frustrated as Clarence was.
So, hold on. Clarence Thomas went to Holy Cross, special magical Negro, learned that he was Black. And it was all male. He wanted to become the first. Somebody told him you could become the first Black priest in this state, the first Black priest. So that was his goal. But he was so mistreated there and so bitter and angry that when he left, he was like, so at every turn, right? And if you think about getting in, because it was like, oh, you're just here because you're Black, right? So he's hearing that a lot. How many of you heard that, right? When you're on campus? I know I heard it first week on Drew's campus. Oh, you're just here because you're part of a Black program. And I was like, actually, I'm not. But even that, as I assess it later, Tyler, I'm like, I shouldn't even have to defend that. You know what I'm saying? Right. That doesn't just because I wasn't part of a program doesn't make me any more valuable, less valuable. Oh, you trying to do something. But, it turned into like, I'm going to show you. So in his mind, that affirmative action stigma could be something that he, in his mind, is like, nah, we're going to remove this because I deserve to be here. And as a result of his Holy Cross experience, he was like, I'm not even going to try to be a priest. Now I'm going to do something more. So then he goes to Yale. And it's like he's dressing different because, again, mostly white. They're treating him bad. So he starts showing up in overalls looking like a country bumpkin. Like, he's one of them people. And what I'm saying to you is I understand him because there's part of me that's like that. Like, I'm going to be the Blackest thing. You think I'm country? I'm showing up. I'll put some straw in my mouth. I'm going to have on some overalls and a dirty T-shirt or whatever and some Timberlands. I'm going to show you, and please underestimate me. So I understand, there's a fury in this man that I can relate to. 866-801-8255.
Karen, you know what it sounds like? Genuinely, I can't help but to think this is like a supervillain origin story.
Yes. Yes.
It's a supervillain origin story. Like, we are dissecting what built the Joker into the Joker. You know what I mean? And landed him where he's at. And I'm not going to disagree with you. I agree with you that I see some of this. Like, and not only I see it, but I kind of feel it. Like, I go, okay, bro. But where it's starting to be weird to me is I get how in his mind he's going, I'm going to fight for Black people to fight for themselves, right? So for him, affirmative action, let's pull that out of there because we don't need that. Let's get an equal playing field. Let's eliminate. but come on, bro.
I'm gonna tell you where it went left, right? Because there's in a villain origin story, there's a place where it goes left, where the villain actually becomes a villain. So he is an absolute villain. And what happened was, he's on campus at Holy Cross. There's a riot. King has been murdered. Bobby Kennedy has been murdered. He's devastated, by the way, by these. This has really shaped him. But the reaction to the murders, and coupled with, by the time he goes to Yale, he's now like good friends with John Bolton. So so yes, it get this the plot thing. I'm sitting there like, oh snap, because again at every turn, because I'm empathetic, I'm like, what would happen? And I'm gonna be honest. There was a point in my career where that road was very paved with gold for me. I'm working on the Daily News editorial board, winning a Pulitzer and a Polk Award for editorials, the Polk Award that I wrote, right? And I'm getting, I'm getting access to different things. And the more quote unquote conservative and I did a column, the more I'm like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, the more access I get, the more, benefits.
Sure,
and you go, oh, this is the path that you can take to riches. I'm friends with people who some of y'all know, like some problematic people. I'm getting contract. You know what I'm saying? I'm invited to all of the parties. I'm invited to all of where I might be one of two black people in a room. I'm being honest with you. And I remember the moment when I was like, ooh, this could really my career. And then I remember the moment where I was like, nah, I can't do that and sleep at night. I can't. But I saw it, and it was right there. And then there's a thing where you lie to yourself, because there's some of my colleagues who went down that path, and once you do it enough, you forget who you are. Or you forget the thing that you came in there to do, which was to flip the tables, because the money and the success and the fame become the drug itself.
Yeah.
And the power in Clarence Thomas, the power, because now instead of being at the mercy of these people who were treating me bad and making me feel away, I now have the power. I have a job for life that can change and alter the world. I don't know what that feels like, Tyler Merritt, but I'm going to bet that very few of us will have that to even contemplate.
You know what? I'm laughing because it's kind of scary to me. Like, for all these superhero movies that we watch, none of the villains' goal is to be on the Supreme Court. But damn it, that's where the power is.
I'm saying his relation with John Bolton shifted his view of what he could get done. So it was like, be the first black priest, but there's this buzz about Supreme Court and Thurgood. Like, once that became in his crosshairs, and I'm saying this to everybody. Once he saw Supreme Court, and Thurgood Marshall hadn't died yet, but there was a whisper that this is he then said, how do I get there? And if the rest of his course of his life was about the blueprint for how to sit on that Supreme Court, including Gini, who gave him access. John Bolton gave him access. Going to Yale gave him access. Plying the people that he met at Yale to put him in. And then it was a series of things that happened that he couldn't control. Reagan, Bush, set him in, and he was willing to say the things that he may not have believed, or maybe believed. And there's is this one? Let me see. Remaking himself. Let me play a couple more. I'm not gonna play the protest that led to this. Let's do him remaking himself. Clip 6.
Gone was the Black Panther uniform. Proving his grandfather wrong, he excelled at school, graduating near the top of his class. And the next day, he married his college girlfriend, Kathy Ambush.
I asked him, why did you marry her? And he said, because she was the first woman who was nice to me. He always had a problem with women. he regarded himself as not attractive at all. He regarded women as being pretty mean to him or indifferent to him. And this was the first woman who did not show that. So he married her.
Yo, so we got two issues. This one's bigger. This one's bigger than black people that treat me white, right?
Right.
This is the one that sends motherfuckers out to shoot up the place. You understand?
Right.
This issue right here, I am rejected by every woman. Oh my God. So
I'm sure he's not cured from that.
Exactly. This is my
I'm sure
point.
he still carries that.
Because what happens to you in your dating life as a young person? Most of us are just children that haven't worked out our childhood trauma, right? But imagine the rejection. I
literally wrote a book about it.
I know you did. I take my coffee black. Yes. So and you write very poignantly about the revenge. You know, you exacted upon a lot of women. They had nothing to do with that first woman that cheated on you, Tyler. But a lot of other women had to catch them L's because somebody hurt you. That's
right.
Now, Clarence Thomas is that personified, right? So it's like, oh, he absolutely had that pubic hair, Coke can, long dog. He did that. He was notorious. He did that. He did all of those horrible things that Anita Hill said he did because he couldn't get pussy when he was young and was mad about it. And then when he got power, as most of these degenerate asses, whether we're talking about Harvey Weinstein or ugly ass, I don't want to start naming names to people that ain't been convicted yet, but you know, name all of the ugly people, and I'm talking inside and out, who you knew could not get pussy when they were young, who got power, and then use that power to destroy the peas, to treat women in dehumanized ways because they could get away with it because now they got money and power. Oh my goodness. I said, this is it, Tyler. This is why we don't have affirmative action and civil rights. This is why.
Listen, I was not, when I knew I was coming on today, I did not think I was going to be educated on the villain origin story of Clarence Thomas. But I feel like anybody who has listened to the past hour now has to have a better understanding as to what we're dealing with, and which then brings into the whole entire question on who we let have power in this country.
I've been saying this. Listen, I've been saying this loudly and quietly. And this goes for some of y'all civil rights leaders who, I'm going to say less, but when you bring your pathology and then you have now power and influence and money, like we need to examine all. Trump is a classic example of somebody you damn well know without money, that man gets no pussy. None. He has to pay. He still has to pay for it. If we think about all of the wives he had, and then he takes it when he can't get it, right? Because he thought he could get away with it. Now people coming back with statute of limitations and stuff being lifted. But those people are scary because power in their hands is now everybody's got to pay for what I couldn't get, or for how I felt about myself. Now you're gonna pay. Insecure people should never be in control of anything. Damn. Oh my God! But that seems to be the damn story arc of our country. It's nothing but folk that couldn't run in tech companies. It's just
I run my fingers through her hair as she smiles and says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you lost thing is the one